I'm Pat Nestor. I'm the Director of IT Audit here at Richey May, and this is...
My name is Dev. I'm a Senior Associate here at Richey May, and today we'll be talking about the top 5 things you should know before reading a SOC report. So I'll pass it over to Pat. You want to start off with our first item?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Dev. So the first item when reviewing a SOC report, is it can be a bit confusing, is to check to make sure that's the correct report type. So based on the services your vendor's providing, you will want either a SOC 1 report. So if they have an impact over your financial reporting, make sure it's a SOC 1. If they're responsible for handling sensitive data, you're going to want to make sure it's a SOC 2 report. And then the other thing you really want to check for is the type of report. So type 1 report is just really a snapshot of controls at a point in time, where the type 2 report tests those same controls but over a longer period of time. And the last thing is to check the time period covered by the report. As this is an annual process and audit that you should be going through, make sure that's the most recent and not from 2 years ago.
No, absolutely. And now that we've talked about the report types and the scope of the reports, a common misconception is that a SOC report is a compliance certification. Let's dive in a little bit deeper as to why SOC opinions matter and how to interpret them.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, the thing we hear quite a bit is that a SOC report's, like you said, is a compliance certification. What it really is a report from an independent auditor, and they offer their opinion on those internal controls. So in looking at that SOC report, an unmodified opinion is, we'll call it the passing grade. There still can be some minor exceptions there, minor deviations, but overall, your controls are in a pretty good spot. If you're reviewing a key vendor SOC report and you see qualified or adverse, you're really going to want to dive into those control failures. And then the next step would be check management responses and see what they're doing to address those deviations, address those findings, and make sure they don't have a severe impact on you. So the third thing you want to check for is the control objectives that were in scope and the test performed over those controls. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So in section 4 of the report is where you'll find the test of the controls performed by the auditor on the controls of the entity. So here you'll find the controls that the entity has in place, the test that the auditor performed on those controls, and then the result of the test. A big piece here that you want to look at is, did the auditor perform anything further than inquiry? Did they obtain evidence to support the claim of the control? So after reviewing the controls, the tests, and the results of those controls, we can move on to the next piece of the report.
Thanks, Deb. So within section 4, the other big thing you want to keep an eye on is any exceptions or deviations noted by the auditor. If you do see those in the report, what are some next steps you should take when reviewing?
Great point. So if you do see those in the report, you want to go to the bottom to management response. Here you'll see what management did to evaluate the deficiency or the exception that was noted, and then the next steps that they're going to perform to mitigate that risk. So the final piece of the SOC report that you should review are the complementary user entity controls. Pat, do you mind diving a little deeper into what the CUECs are and why they're relevant to our readers?
Yeah, absolutely, Deb. It's a confusing topic, and one analogy that I like to use with our clients is, it's like when you buy a car, right? Your car comes with a lock. You are responsible as the user of the car to lock your car at night. If you don't lock your car up at night and it gets broken into and stolen, that's not the car's fault, that's the user's fault. So the point of these is, in order to rely on that system that you're using, making sure that you're putting proper safeguards on your end for that system to operate effectively.
That's a great way to put it, Pat. I know we jumped through a lot of different parts of the SOC report today, so if you have any questions, please reach out to us at Richey May. Thank you.